So with tabs implemented, we made a huge step forward. Now the goal is to actually be able to share places and then find a place. And if we click on that place, we actually load a different screen, which is pushed on a stack of screens where we can then click on some back button, which should appear here, which should take us back. So that's the goal, but for that we need places. And even though we haven't implemented authentication yet, I want to implement the places, add place, load place thing already. For that, we need Redux to manage that. Well, we don't need it, but especially when using multiple screens, it makes a lot of sense because passing data around between screens is possible, but not that much fun. And Redux is much better here. So let me show you how to add Redux. It's very simple, thankfully. If you want to add Redux, you go to the place where you register your components. Keep in mind, these are the components which are loaded through navigation. They are the only components you can reach as screens, as containers. So these are the components which should be connected to Redux. So these are the interesting components for us. How do we add Redux here? We, first of all, import the provider. So we import provider from Redux. That's the first step. The second step is that we also need to get access to our store. So in index.js, the old file where we configured our store, we can copy these two lines where I import configure store and where I then execute configure store to get my store. So I'll head over to app.js and quickly add this here. Import configure store. The path should be all right because app.js is on the same level as index.js. And then execute it. And once we get the store and the provider, we can add it to register component. The third argument would be the store, and the fourth argument would be the provider. And you need to pass both if you want to use Redux. And then you just do that for every screen which you want to connect to Redux. And of course, you don't have to connect all the screens. I just reformatted this. We have first argument, second, third, and fourth. You don't have to connect all screens to Redux. If there is a screen which doesn't need the global state, just don't pass the third and fourth argument. Here all screens do need it though, so I will leave it as it is. Now all these screens will get my Redux store. And now we can use the connect middleware, as we did before, on these screens to map dispatch to props and map state to props. So nothing spectacular there. So with that, let's update our store to be able to create new places and load all our places. And let's add all this functionality to our components over the next lectures.